What's going on, winners? Your boy Loso 2.0. Welcome back to episode 2 again of the Winners Win podcast. It's the reboot, man. Again, on here, we will be talking directly about how leadership directly reflects revenue, right? And how it impacts revenue in small businesses. So if you're a business owner, aspiring business owner, whatever the case may be, you're going to learn about how a hard skill like leadership is actually affecting your revenue, right? Let me get started right here, right? I want to start by saying leadership is a revenue strategy and not a management skill. I remember back when I used to have an old VP at the company that I worked for, right? And he would talk about the idea that, what's the point of having managers? Okay. He would say, listen, there's another company that he knows, they have no managers. They literally just have one area manager person to oversee multiple locations. And then everyone in those different locations affect the revenue of it, right? They're all worried about the operations. They evenly split the bonuses, the commission, and everything, and it flows perfectly fine. I agree, but I disagree, man. I mean, I get it. It saves you money, right? But investing in leadership is probably one of the most important things that you can do, right? It is one of the highest ROIs a business can make. Now, what does ROI mean? Return on investment. Okay. So it means that if I invest in a leader, I'm expecting more back. And I mean, I like to say, not to brag, but I like to say even myself is a perfect example of that. When I was at my old company, they invested so much in training and leadership skills, right? From the time I was a rep, you went through these leadership, these trainings on sales right from the beginning. Then you had leaders teaching, continue to follow up with that. Like, how do you re-rate? How do you bundle? Whatever the case may be. Then when you went to next level management, you had to take more training courses, more Zoom meetings on how to actually manage. And then they had district managers to train you on that. Then when I went to the level of having multiple units, you got trained again through another program where it was called, dang, I forgot what the program was called. I want to say it Inspire, no, not Inspire program. I'm thinking something else. Elevate. And literally the Elevate program was teaching you how to run multiple units, how your day looks, stuff. And they really specifically focused on that training. And then you had directors that continue to up on that training. So I think my story in my career with all of this shows the importance of investing in your leadership. It's very, very important. Okay. Leadership determines a couple of things: culture, accountability, customer service, sales execution, and employee retention. All right. I'm gonna start with culture. So beginnings of my day, how they start is I literally call all my stores before we open up, all the managers, and literally just simply just tell them to say something. That's call them and say, hey, say good morning in our group chat. Something stupid as that, right? Now I got to the point where people are trying to beat me, made a little game out of it. Who can be the first one to text good morning in the group chat the next day? And it's actually really hilarious because we're all trying to race to see, oh, I'm gonna say good morning. Like some people doing it 7 a.m., 6:30, 6 o'clock. Like people are really trying to beat each other out to be the first ones to say good morning, right? And I noticed something. The sales just started to shoot up with just that small little culture thing. Calling teams midday, seeing some sales on the real dashboard. Something stupid as this. Calling them and telling them, hey, shout that sell out. Shouting the sell out, and I'm over here boosting it, right? Continue to talk trash in the group messages. These different things drive the culture and the revenue of the locations. And now we're having our best month that we've ever had. And this all came from having that more engagement. One thing that you should really look for in a leader is their ability to be engaged. Bro, I would take an engaged person over someone who has all the skill sets any single day, because that engaged person will start to really pick up on some of the stuff and start to drive, right? So engagement. Next thing is accountability. I met this very, very strong leader named Hope, and her name was Hope Chapman. And she would always say she had to use the word accountability and start to use the word responsibility, right? Takes a negative connotation out of the word and make it to a positive connotation of like, you want to be responsible. How responsible are you, right? You want them to take that ownership. Third, customer service. Bro, I literally have a location where they are do everything good, but the customer service is like so like slightly off only because of, again, the leadership. I keep having the conversation. The leadership even came up with the plan of like, listen, we got to split this team up because of the fact that the customer service was off, right? That them good Google reviews and stuff again comes from engagement, comes from that sales execution. I just told you the idea of literally this is all we do. I'm texting the team and good morning, and now people are saying good morning. Now people are excited to shout out their sales, excited to go, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to do because they're engaged right now. They're taking that ownership, and then employee retention. If people are having fun at work, they're making money. I like to look at it like this: you can go make money anywhere, right? Someone could go in a warehouse and not talk to nobody all day, have their headphones in and make their money. But what's going to make people stay and employee retention is all these things. So as you know, all these things lead back to leadership. That culture that you're looking for, that accountability that you're looking for, responsibility, that customer service, the sales execution, and then employee retention. All of it has to do with leadership and how much you put into leadership, and that's including leading yourselves too. Yes, I'm talking to you, the one person show entrepreneur. All this stuff applies to you too as well. You just don't have a team yet. You have to do all these things to yourself. You are that team. Leadership first creates responsibility, right? I mean, the thing I love, right, about having so much responsibility in a leader is that they start to have their team have that responsibility. I had a location where when the manager's off, the guy does not even have the title of assistant manager, but he's still making sure everyone's building quotes. He's still trying to make sure the energy is good in the store. He's still trying to get everybody to have fun when the manager isn't there because he takes that ownership of it on himself, right? So leadership is going to create this responsibility naturally for people who want to be on that next level, right? Building up your bench. Think about it. When you hoop, you got your starters and then you got the bench players. Just in case something happens, someone gets tired, need a breather, or whatever the case may be, somebody might come off the bench and be a spark. You should have a bench of leaders always created, right? It improves customer service experience, right? Which is the most important thing that you're looking for because more customer experience means more sales. Well, you got to have both. And this is important thing that I was teaching, right? You can't be all sales because all sales and no customer experience means a short term game of you making money and then it just disappears. Great customer service without great sales means that your great customer experience, they're going to keep coming back, but you're not going to make any money. You're not going to last long. You got to have both of them. And both of them are both driven by having a strong leader in the location. It reduces employee turnover, man. So I had this leader that was in one of these locations, and the bull he gonna say the bull's crazy. I'm telling you this. He literally said this when we did store visits when the new president came by. First thing he says is, "Hey, listen, I went through 12 people in like the last year," and he was excited about that. Like I'm great at firing people. To me, a high turnover, you have to go and look in the mirror. You have to look at leadership. If you have a high turnover at your location, people quitting, people leaving, it has to do. There's a leadership problem somewhere. Either we're hiring the wrong people, or the leader is the person that's the problem in there, right? And it's something that I really stressed with. We were making some changes at the company, right? And one of my biggest stresses was the fact of this: you can't just have good things in place for good employees, right? You can't focus just on the frontline employees. I say you have to invest in leadership first every single time, right? Because then let's say you get some good employees and I don't know, let's say it's an apple that's fresh, but we put it in a basket with a rotten apple. All these fresh apples are put in a basket of rotten apples. The rotten apples are going to start to spread across that good apple and make that good apple start to be rotten. So you really have to invest in good leadership because all it does is continue to create that large turnover. Again, leadership creates future leaders. I was talking about this before. I said the fact that you want to have that bench. Remember, I told you about the guy who literally takes consideration, like, yo, I'm running the show when the leader's not here, right? People that are excited, people that are fighting for, like, you should have people like you should. The problem you should have is not who's going to be my next leader. The problems you should have is, who's going to be my next leader, right? But in a different sense. One is like you can't find no one. One is like you have too many options to pick from, so you just got to pick the best one in this situation. In leadership, now, while we're on the topic of leadership, right, there are mistakes that leadership does that kill revenue. So that was the good part that leadership does, creating that ownership, creating that customer experience, reducing employee turnover, creating future leaders. But there's other things that kill the revenue, right? And that's micromanaging, inconsistent standards, avoiding difficult convos, promoting top salespeople without leadership skills, and lack of vision. Now, first, I'm going to start off on that first one on micromanaging. Bro, I hate this so much. If you have to micromanage your team, you do not have the right people, or you do not trust your people. All it does is show a lack of trust. And this is something I had to learn too as well, because I had a leader that was constantly telling me to hit up people every single hour and I'm not doing that. What is the point of babysitting people? People know what to do with their job is. You set expectations and then you follow up with those expectations. Those are the most important things that you should do. Now, you never have to micromanage. I'll talk to my team maybe 3 times a day. In the morning, I'm calling them at 9:30 a.m. to get them pumped up for the day, tell them to say good morning in the group chat, get the energy going. I call them around 2 p.m. if they don't have nothing on board, like a good sell on board, at least by that time. Like, we have a huge metric, that a KPI that we're chasing after every single day, the most important one. If they don't have that one, I'm calling them midday, seeing what's happening. I'm typing in GroupMe again, whatever. If I have teams that's getting a strong KPI, having a strong sales day, I'm texting them like, hey, not even calling them. I'm just texting them, hey, bro, shout that stuff out. I know they're busy, right? And then at 6 p.m. that evening, I'm telling people good job. Text people that are doing a good job, great job. The ones that are struggling, I might call them and recap the day, see what happened today, maybe see where the opportunity was, right? Not micromanaging. Micromanaging kills so many businesses. It's not even funny. Two, inconsistent standards. You cannot hold and this is one of the hugest problems I have, right? I have this, right? And I can't, again, I'm not saying no names, something like that, but there's a time, right, where we had leaders who, I'm just give you a story. Let's say, you have security purposes, right? You got to keep, I don't know, make sure that everyone sends out their trade-ins at the right time, right? Or someone does operation at the right time. You cannot hold someone to a different standard than the next leader. All that does is create tension in the group. You cannot be on someone's behind about, hey, you need to do your operations and make sure you're lowering your business. And then the next person, you're not on them as hard and they're doing even worse or the same things, right? Inconsistent standards is the kills revenue so fast. It's not even funny. And I've witnessed this so many times, and it gets good people gone, right? Because that's really what happens. Remember, I told you guys 3 things that run a business: people, sales, and operations. This makes good people leave every single time. And that is not having those consistent standards across the board. Okay. Now, third is avoiding difficult conversations. This is actually easier than it sounds. Let me get some water real quick before. When I drink from this cup, I feel like I'm in Game of Thrones world, right? Or Harry Potter or something with the glass cup. I feel like I gotta drink this joint, hold my hand all crazy, whatever the case may be, though. But hold on, give me some water. All right, but listen, having difficult combos is easier than it sounds, because having difficult combos is all about being honest. I promise you, it's all about being honest. Now, there is ways to do it. I recommend the sandwich method, and I talked about this before, right? The sandwich method strictly is positive, what you need to work on, positive. So the positives are the bread, and then what you need to work on, the negatives, is the middle, right? So I'm having a conversation. Let's say someone is struggling with sales. I may strictly say, hey, listen, you're doing a lot of great things right now as far as you making sure the store is absolutely clean, operation is super sound. I need you to sell, right? Because I need you to sell because right now this is why, right? And I'm telling them the why. And then I'm also saying, like I said, I know this should be easy because if you can just take that same energy you do into those operations themselves, you should be good. But I love to be transparent with my team, right? Transparent. I tell them when I'm frustrated. I tell them when I'm not. I tell them I make sure to be transparent with my team at all times, because it's just, I expect the same transparency, right? I'm gonna tell them like, yo, bro, I'm very upset about this stuff, bro. And it's like, I will, and if it really does come down, I don't like to threaten jobs or anything like that. But if it's something that continuously happens and we have a lot of conversations about it, I always tell them like, hey, listen, just to let you know, I have someone else, like, again, part of building your bench, I have someone else waiting, right? That wants to take this spot. You gotta let me know whether or not you want it. See what I'm saying? So having those conversations, and it's without, it doesn't have to be yelling. I'm never yelled at my team. I'm just straight up telling them like, yo, listen, I'm frustrated, and this is why. Y'all too talented to be doing this stuff, right? And I'll tell them, and that's the thing I'll say all the time. I'm like, yo, listen, you're too talented to be letting stuff like this slide. So things like this, like kind of, it holds people accountable, but it also gets them going, right? But then when it comes down to it, you're like, listen, at the end of the day, it's a job, bro. So I gotta do what's best for the business, right? Um, and then promoting top salespeople without leadership skills, bro. I can't even tell you how many times this happened to me too before. We had this guy. I always say it all the time. He was the best, one of the best salespeople that came through our company. He was doing a little shady stuff, but he was not that good of a leader. So a lot of times he had a lot of people that would always complain about him because of his lack of leadership skills, right? So stop promoting these top salespeople without getting them through some type of program and training. And really, a lot of it is starting on the training, bro. That's really what it is. Like a lot of these businesses, like you guys, for your business, you gotta stick on the training, bro. You really gotta have something nice, like a nice little system going through when it comes to the training, because that really will make or break your business. Strictly the training, right? And then lack of vision, bro. They need to be able to see the future, bro. Like you see these, when I take these glasses off, everything is blurry. I can't even read my freaking goals for this year right now because I can't see. But when you have your team all focusing on the same vision and you let them know, express what that vision is, right? I should, and it could be something short, it could be something long. I could be like, listen, right now my team's on a tear right now. I'm sure I'm telling them like, listen, the whole reason my vision is I just want to kick these other doubters behind so bad that you can't say nothing to me. You just literally just stop talking to me. Like that's how bad I want to kill them, right? So making sure that your team is updated on your vision and the stuff that you want to attack. So we went over a lot of things, right? When it came to how important leadership is and how it is an ROI, a very important ROI, right? So I got some homework for you guys. For one, I want you to have a coaching combo, right? Have one coaching combo, but be strictly honest. Try that sandwich method, but be strictly honest with your team. Honesty is the best way to communicate when it comes to difficult conversation. Two, create a measurable expectation, right? My, one of my mentors told me the difference between uh, prescriptive and just saying something, right? When you get a prescription, well, let's say it like this, right? Let's say someone's overweight. Obviously someone could just say the answer is you need to work out more, but then a prescription will be more exact. Like when you get a prescription from a doctor, hey, take this weight loss pill every 8 hours, make sure you get 8 hours of sleep, do 10,000 steps. That's prescriptive. So create a prescriptive measurable expectation, and the money is in the follow-up, and that's with sales, and that's with your expectations, right? Inspect what you expect, and then recognize one employee publicly. I want you to be obnoxiously positive. I'm talking about to the point where it's actually kind of cringy, like right on the border of cringy, because then that's just going to continue to grow more positivity with your team and your respective organization, right? So that's really all I have for you guys today, man. Listen, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to the Winners Win channel, right? We're going to be dropping gems like this once per week. And there's going to be a lot of other things on here, going live, things of that nature. And if you are listening to this on some type of podcast platform, man, follow this. Like I said, my YouTube channels, Winners Win. Instagram's Loso 2.0 _ man. So follow me on there too. But yeah, bro, we coming different for these last 6 months. The first 6 months was, and they said this message in church the other day, right? The first 6 months of this year was about going through the storm. Now, these last 6 months is about coming out on top. That's all I have for you guys today. Remember, winners win, losers lose. Pray for success like this. 2.0 out.